I usually like to film on the weekends, but if I'm not too tired from school or if I'm not busy with like extracurriculars and stuff like that, I like to edit on the weekdays as well. The first thing that I do is I like to think up a script, and I have notes right here, that's why I'm looking down. I think up a script, like ideas and stuff like that, and then I write it down in my script book. And then the next thing I'll do is I will get my dolls ready, like their hair and their clothes, to make sure that they're dressed appropriate for the video. Most of my sets are already built, so I call them like my permanent sets, but sets that I need for the video, I will usually build those after I get my dolls ready and stuff. And my sets are usually, like the ones that aren't permanent, are set up like around the house. Like some of them will be like in my dining room, while others will be like in my living room. For the sake of this video, I'm using my most recent stop motion, which is called The Sleepover. If you haven't seen it, you can go check it out, as an example. So just to get this out there, I'm going to list the materials of what I use for filming right now. And if you guys are interested, then you can use those if you want to buy them or something like that. Once I'm done with the sets and preparations, I start filming. And I usually like to film a couple scenes each day because, as you know, stop motion animation is very time consuming and I usually get really tired after doing it, so I like to limit myself to at least a couple of scenes for Saturday and Sunday. So I'll do maybe like 3 scenes on Saturday and like 2 on Sunday. And then here's some time lapses of me filming a stop motion. Most of my kitchen scenes, I like to use natural lighting because where my set is, it's actually right across from a window, so a lot of light comes in, so I just like to open the curtains and let the light come in, and it actually makes my videos look really, like, good, I guess. But then, like, the sets like I have in my, like, upstairs dollhouse area, I like to use artificial lighting, which I use my umbrella light for that, and it makes my videos look a lot more cleaner and, like, vivid, like you can see all the details, so I totally recommend using an umbrella light, and I recommend using artificial lighting most of the time as well, because the lighting from the windows outside the sun is very inconsistent, so it makes your video look a little weird, and sometimes I have to like wait for the lighting to like become the same before I start filming again, which is also time consuming. And to avoid having to edit like all the time, because exporting photos takes like a really long time, I sometimes like to take the photos that I like shot that day and start editing them right away. So to start, I take my SD card from my camera and I plug it into the adapter which goes into my computer. My Mac is newer, so it doesn't have all of the ports. I go to my photos and download all of the pictures. End up having about 1,000 photos for a single 3-minute stop motion, so that's a lot. And then once they download, I have to load them all into Final Cut Pro, and then that's what takes the longest, in my opinion. Once all the exporting photos is all done, I then set the frames per second, and I used to use iMovie for editing, but I did not like the way that my videos were looking, so I decided that I wanted to get Final Cut Pro because that's like an amazing software, so I definitely recommend that you guys get it. It's a little pricey, but if you're really into filming, if that's what you want to do, then I recommend getting that app. But for me, iMovie's stop motion settings are way too slow for me and I don't like it that much. So in Final Cut Pro, I set the pictures to move at 0.2 frames per second. And then when all of it's going at the right speed, when it's all done loading, I export that as one whole video because it's way easier to cut and edit the scenes when you have the photos as one big clip. And then I named the video the title of my stop motion for organization purposes. For the voiceovers, since I don't have a microphone yet, which I'm planning to get one in the future, and my computer does not record well, so I do all of my voiceovers on my iPad on a specific app, and I'll put it on the screen right now in case any of you guys want to use it. So what I do for voiceovers is I read off my script and record each line as a separate voiceover, and you can see a time lapse of me doing that. Save it, I name the voiceover file the part of the dialogue that it is. So for example, if I'm saying, "Hi, how are you?" in one dialogue clip, or whatever, one dialogue, that's what I would name it. Once I record all the dialogue, I then email them to myself so I can use them in Final Cut Pro on my Mac, because like I said, I record my voiceovers on my iPad. So I open the emails and I save them to the download section so I can then open them in Final Cut Pro. I then find my voiceovers and put them in my video, and to make editing faster, I totally recommend that you do this. I pay attention to the sound waves that Final Cut Pro allows you to see. Where the spikes and sound waves start, that means that's when I start talking, so I take any part that there aren't sound waves and I cut it off. Then I'll match it up to the correct part in the film. And then if the dialogue doesn't line up with the doll's action, if it's too long or too short compared to the voiceover, I either slow the clip down or speed it up to make it match, to make the dialogue match with the video clip. Continue that process for the whole video and put transitions in to make the video more entertaining. And I also add my intro and my end cards, which you guys always see, and music, of course. And I usually get my music from Kevin MacLeod. He's a really good person to get music from. A lot of YouTubers use him. This is what the final product looks like when it's all done. When I finish with the video, I upload it to YouTube. I usually put it on private first so I can set the thumbnail and write the description and add the end cards. And then I begin to create the thumbnail, and I use an app called PicsArt for this. It's a really good app. I totally recommend it again. I use a picture from the stop motion that I just made and add in text and filters and all that good stuff. I email it to myself and format it in Canva, so Canva is a website that allows you to make like thumbnails and Facebook, Tumblr, all those kinds of things. So I put it into Canva and I format it so it's the correct size for the thumbnail, because you need a specific size for YouTube to take that picture as a thumbnail. I can't remember the dimensions off the top of my head, but Canva has an automatic setting for that. And then after that, I set the video on public and it's open for you guys to see it. And this whole process is similar to for non-stop motion videos. It just takes a shorter amount of time. And finally, I delete all of the photos and voiceovers after I save a copy of the stop motion as a whole, so I have storage space, because you don't want 1,000 photos on your computer and laptop, because that takes up a ton of storage, especially if you're shooting in RAW, which I sometimes shoot in RAW, but I don't know, it takes up a lot of space. So yeah, that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I don't know how long this was gonna be, and sorry if it was a little confusing, because there's a lot of terminology and steps, and yeah, it's not as complicated in real life as it sounds. I mean, sort of, but once you get used to it and you film a ton of stop motions like I do and videos, then it's pretty much like clockwork. Like, you know what to do, when to do it, how to do it. So yeah, that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Put your hand